Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and we are now going to be looking at the Deck of Fate event that has started today. It's the first Deck of Fates where we're going to actually have summoning souls from soul stones. Upgrading champions is, I think it's one that's been done before, and then get artifacts. Essentially, we've got champion training, dungeon divers, and this summoning souls from soul stones, but we've never had a Deck of Fates with summoning souls before. They pretty much are doing this as a third component because they've recognized that actually you don't really get enough value out of soul stones because of the odds, so you can't really just have them as the second component. I'm pretty sure if they increased the odds, we wouldn't have champion training here. If anyone has never done a Deck of Fates, the way that this system works is every time you complete one of the activities of this event, which is get artifact, every time you level a champion, every time you get an artifact, every time you pull a stone, you get coins like for these cards. And once you get 1,000 of these card coins, you basically can flip a card, and behind every single card there is a set of rewards. Now you can see all of the rewards in the event here. Every single reward you see on your screen here you can get if you get all of the coins for the event. There's a legendary book, so essentially this replaces a champion training. There's a Void Shard, there's a 6-star Chaos Ore, we've got some XP boosts, we've got a 6-star Speed Glyph, an Epic Book, Ancient Shard, some more Speed Glyphs, more Glyphs, and some gems. 250 gems are available for us. It does tell us how many sometimes, 10 if you have to click on them. There's only one legendary, one epic. Every single time they do this, they seem to make the UI and interface a bit more complicated to see what's going on. So we have 40 mystery shards. That's not really something we want. Why are we getting mystery shards in this reward? I'll never know. And then there's about 200,000 silver. So at least there's a legendary. It's basically, the way you can look at it is it replaces a normal champion training event that we would get, right? Because normally there's a legendary book on every champion training event. The idea is you get one, you flip a card, and then you will flip the card and you'll get one of those rewards. Now these rewards come with rarity. There is common cards, epic cards, and rare cards. Now, if you flip 3 of the same rarity at the same time, back to back, then you will get a bonus chest. And this is where all the rewards truly normally exist for this Deck of Fates event. We had one Deck of Fates where actually I thought the base rewards are quite good. And then you have this event. Now, normally you can walk away with at least one of these flips. If you get super lucky and you walk away with the epic, then, you know, these rewards are very, very good. But you've got to keep in mind this is basically gambling twice. You're gambling first that you're going to flip the card to get the reward you want. Then you're gambling on the rarity, and then you're gambling that you're going to get the rarity 3 times in a row. I've long argued that I don't mind if they nerf the amount of rewards here, but make it so that everyone can guarantee it. All you have to do is pull 3 of them. Instead of making it in sequence, just make it once I've pulled 3 of these green, I can get one of these rewards, and just reduce the rewards here. Then I would be fine with it. But obviously it's a gambling game, so, you know. We can't have that. But you do get some really, really good rewards. I would argue that you don't really want the barrel or the 5-star chicken here. You definitely want the Eternal Soul Stone, the Sacred Shard, or the Legendary Book. Maybe the gems as well. 500 gems is quite a lot. I wouldn't really want the barrel as or a Chaos Ore really as a compensation here. So you basically flip the cards. Once you flip the card, you get a reward. Once you get the 3 of the same rarity, you get a bonus chest. That's how it works. There's 40 cards in total, so you need 40,000 points, and then we can basically work out from here how much it's going to cost you to be able to get those rewards. Now, every single event is slightly different, but once they've actually done one of these for the first time, we can kind of use the same numbers. We can see there's Dungeon Divers points, what you get for each different one. So if you get a rank 6 mythical, you get 55 cards. If you level up a champion to rank 6, you get 365 cards. Now, the new one is obviously soul stones down here. If you pull a mortal soul stone, you get 100. If you pull an immortal, it's 1,000. If you pull eternal soul stone, it's 5,000. So essentially you can look at it and go, well, I need to pull 5,000, 10,000, so 8 eternal soul stones to complete the event if I did it just on soul stones, which obviously you wouldn't do because champion training is probably the better way. That's the event. That's how it works. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed there's no Prism Shards. I thought that's what we were going to get. But I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video because I do want to add more context now that we've got more information from yesterday's video where I was talking about the Prism Shards. I'm going to do that at the end of the video. But now let's have a look at the math and let's have a look how much sort of champion training you're going to have to do, how many dungeon divers, how many souls are you going to require to complete this Deck of Fates. Now, before we get into the math, I do want to highlight that they have changed, and I don't know whether it was from the last deck of Fates, but it's one most definitely from one that was in July 2023. They have changed the Dungeon Divers drop rates. You are getting far less cards now in these rewards than you were before. Before, you used to get 72 cards for a mythical 6-star piece. You're now getting 55. It represents around about a 20% reduction in the quality of Dungeon Divers. Now, that could be because they've added souls into this, so they're trying to balance it out, but it does basically mean Dungeon Divers now is a lot worse on this particular deck of Fate than the sort of previous Dungeon Divers deck of Fates. We'll have a look at the math now to basically break down in more detail. I just wanted to comment that 20% nerf in Dungeon Divers on this particular one. So let's just talk about the odds first. You've got 17 common, 13 rare, and 10 epic cards to flip. So out of all those, you've got 5 possible combinations of common, 4 possible from rare, and 3 possible from epic, because even though there is 10, you need 3 flips, so it basically means that 1 epic is just useless. That means you have the odds of pulling 1 card out of this is 43% chance you're going to get a common, 33% chance it's going to be a rare, and 25% chance it's going to be an epic. What that means, once you've got 10 possible epics, when you flip a card, you have 1 in 4 chance that it's going to be epic. What we need to do then is determine what are the odds of us getting 3 of the same rarity back to back. Well, when we work that out, common becomes a 7.68% chance, a 3.43% chance of rare, and a 1.56% chance that you're going to get one of the desirable epic triple rolls. It is very difficult to achieve. This is the problem that I have with this event. Those 3 in a row really kind of devalues the event and makes it a lot less exciting to play. So as I mentioned, we've got 3 sort of points here. We've got summons is probably the easiest one to talk about first. We have basically got mortal soul stones, immortal, and eternal soul stones. What this basically means, I've put them out as like batches of 10. If you want to get 10 cards, you need to summon 100 tier 1 mortal soul stones. It's a lot. If you want 10 for the immortal, it's 10 of the tier 2 and 2 of the eternals. Keep in mind that I've just given you the odds of actually getting something. All of those soul stones are just not worth the investment. So soul stones are not really the way that you're going to get coins. If you've got them and you just want to pull them, like that's what I've been doing lately. I just hoard them up to one of the events that comes out and just like uses them on one of the events. Because to be honest, all of the events are not very good to actually get the end rewards anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just tend to use them. So you can obviously get some cards, but you know, don't expect, unless you are willing to buy 8 Eternal Soul Stones, you're not going to be able to get this done very easily. 400 is an awful lot of stones. Keep in mind, we get about 20 per week. So that's like a lot of weeks' work. So now the champion training is a little bit different. They have actually increased the bonuses on the rank 5, rank 6 slightly. We have now getting, I think it is 10 for a level up for a rank 6 instead of a 9. There's also like a bit about 5 or 10, so it's slightly more points on the higher scale of the champion training than previous sort of events that we've had. What we can do here is we can basically work out some bonuses as well that we're going to get from running campaign. We're going to get bonus dungeon divers, so we can actually pull in the odds of all the different rewards you would get from the dungeon divers, pull in the chance to get them, including the odds that you don't get any artifact at all, and that will give us an average kind of, you know, it all says Litecoins here because this is based on when I did the Litecoins one, but the cards you're going to get per run is about 9 or 13 per campaign run as well. Now, when it comes to the XP boost, I only count normal XP boost. Some players will have a raid card. Some players might even have the Forge Pass at the moment. So your numbers will be slightly less than what I'm giving you here. But just keep that in mind. I only do it based on the XP boost, which is what most people will be working with. So there's 2 ways that we can actually work this out. We can work it out as if you're making food, which is a rank 2 to a rank 5, or we can work it out if you're making a champion, so a rank 6 champion, which is rank 2 to rank 6. And the XP requirements and the numbers you need to do vary. So for example, when we're doing rank 2, what we're basically doing is we're taking level 2s, we're partially leveling some of them, we're also then leveling them up, we're ranking up to rank 3, rank 4. The partially leveling I have actually set is rank 4s we're doing level 14, and rank 5s we're doing level 25. Some people will argue, and they are correct, that it is a little bit more efficient if you do some partial leveling of rank 3s as well, but I find it to be overly complicated. It's too much effort for the small amount, but you can get it even more efficient than this. This is what I would say is the average players, what they will probably do. So in terms of energy required here, we can look at making food, which is a rank 2 to a rank 5. You need about 3.3 million experience, which means you're going to need to run 129 of Brutal 12.3. Now I compare Brutal 12.3 to Nightmare 12.6 because Brutal, you always run 12.3 because shields equals more silver. Even though technically 12.6 is more experience, I think it's more desirable to run silver on Brutal. But Nightmare 12.3 is actually a lot harder in terms of stats. 12.6 has a lot less defenses, so people tend to run 12.6 because it's an easier stage to run. So if you're doing 12.3, you're doing 129 runs. It's about 1,034 energy, and you're going to get a bonus 1,165 cards from just running this one rank 2 to rank 5, making one of these rank 5s. So it's basically a free flip every time you make a rank 5 champion. It's not so bad. When it comes to Nightmare, it's half the runs because you're basically getting double the energy and double the experience. It is less energy. It's about 100 or so less energy, but you will get less dungeon diver points. It's only 3/4 of a flip, 750. So it's probably better to run Brutal here because you will get more of the coins and you'll probably overall save yourself energy. Even though you're going to save yourself energy in Nightmare, you'll need to replace that loss of Dungeon Diver coins with another source or run more campaign. If you want to make champions, it's 19.7 million experience, which is about 761 12.3 campaign runs, 6,000 energy, and you get a bonus 6,800 Dungeon Diver coins. So you basically get about 7 card flips from making one rank 6 champion. If you do it at 12.6, it's 337, 5.3k energy, and about 4.4k bonus divers. So you can see you're losing around about 2.5 thousand Dungeon Diver coins by running Nightmare. Training so far looks like the way to do it. Now, if we look at Dungeon Divers quickly, this one's much easier. As I said, there's about 20% loss of coin rewards from Dungeon Divers this time, so it's not the best way to do it. We can basically do what we normally do, which is get the actual reward from each individual type of artifact, map it against their opportunity odds, then average those, and then we can basically return an average per energy. As you can see, as always, stage 20 tends to be the best. But there's a lot less of a gap with this kind of point rewards. So let's have a bit of a summary and analysis here. Let's have a look at Dungeon Divers. How many are you going to have to do? If you want to do 40,000 coins exclusively from running Fire Knight or something else, you're going to need to run 1,331 Fire Knight 10 hard, or about 1,400. The most efficient is probably going to be 1,487 runs in stage 20, which equates to around about 23.7k energy. Now, I will probably run Fire Knight Tournament at the moment, so I will get a little bit. I'll probably get myself like 5,000 from here. But Dungeon Divers, as you can see, is not good. It is very poor. Now, if you want 10,000 flips, it is actually more efficient than Dungeon Divers normally, based on a 7,500 Dungeon Divers. But obviously, those 10 flips could literally be a few rank and rarity charms, some multi-battles, and some silver. Would be really awful for the amount of energy you're investing. So definitely Dungeon Divers is not how I would do this. Champion training is the way to do it. So we can actually break this down now and have a look. We can see that rank 6 here is 2.1 for the complete event. That's how many rank 6s you need to make. That will be on Brutal about 12,755, and on Nightmare it's 12,959. So it's actually quite close when we take into account all the Dungeon Diver points. Perhaps if your time is more important to you, that actually a little bit extra energy is probably worth it. This is taking into account the differences in terms of the Dungeon Diver coins as well. When I've actually looked at it here, perhaps I was originally wrong in making an assumption that Brutal is better. Nightmare might be the way to go because actually it's about the same energy, and you can probably do it in half the amount of runs. We're talking basically the difference in runs is, I think, about half. It's about 56% less runs. So if you can do it in about the same amount of time, then it's 56% less time you're spending doing this. 11,000 energy for the 40,000 flips. There's about 11,000 energy for a legendary book. That's the way to kind of look at it. A legendary book and a void shard and a chance to get something else. So definitely training is the way to look at doing this if you want to do it. It is the best path to the deck of fates. You can pull your souls for some little excess. You'll get some Dungeon Diver points from, if you're doing the Fire Knight tournament, but training is the path for deck of fates. So I just want to close this out now by talking about the Prism Shards update that we've had yesterday. When I was talking about it yesterday, I only looked at the improvement of the odds. I didn't really look at the overall accessibility of it. And that's fair. People commented on the video yesterday to kind of say, well, it's more pay to win now because they've increased the summon cost by quadruple, and they've made it much more pay to win, which at the time, I didn't really do any assessment of, because I felt, well, until I know how many free summons we're going to get, how many points are we going to get on the actual, the events, then I couldn't make a judgment call. So I was expecting if they're going to increase the summon cost by 4, then they should increase the rewards by 4 in my biased sort of hindsight sort of optimistic way. But apparently, no. Apparently, we're going to just give you 20. This is a major fail for me. They have a great system in Prism Systems that deals with the problem of a times 10 math in the sense that, you know, we don't want to pull champions anymore because we know we're going to get rubbish champions. Like, this pool of champions are really good. But now you're basically saying the only way you can pull it is to buy shards. You know, you've got clan boss rewards. I can get sacred shards by playing the game. I'm not going to earn, like, one event over 4 days has got 20 Prism Shards. I'm not going to buy these Prism Shards. It's basically like buying sacred shards. I'm not going to do that. Don't be silly. You know, nobody buys sacred shards, and if you're in analytics tell you that people buy sacred shards, then they're being silly, because the rate that is valued of sacred shards in terms of like monetary value is very, very, very expensive. I would never ever buy a sacred shard unless I really, really was desperate. You know, maybe the monthly pack because you get other shards as well, but I really would not go towards a sacred shard purchase at all. So you're basically giving me 1/4 of a summon, 9,600 points. I don't even want to do 9,600 points, I'll be honest. I'll probably get the Titan points and leave it. This is absolutely a fail. The whole point yesterday I was trying to make was they've improved the problems from the last one, which was they took the rare champions out. So now when you pull them, you didn't just get rare champions. They increased the legendary odds and they made the champions in the pool much stronger, right? The champions that were available weren't just sort of like past fusions or daily logins or guaranteed. They were actually champions that people wanted, like Duchesses and Nekmothars. Okay, he was a guaranteed, but he's still a really good champion. You know, Korrigars, those types of champions, really, really good champions. But you've basically just told everyone you can only get if you spend money. People aren't going to spend money now that you've done that. Maybe people are. Maybe I'm just being optimistic again. But this is a big problem for me. I would expect this to be at least 40. And then I would expect to see 2 more. I personally, I feel the balance here is, yes, make people, give them the option to buy these prisms, but every player should have at least one free summon every single Prism System event you do. At least one. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for 100 summons. I'm asking that every player has the opportunity to roll the dice and get one of these champions once for not actually spending money. Because otherwise, all you're going to do is you're going to make people hate the system. And then you're going to be back to square one, where people are just going to hoard their shards because no system gives them a better opportunity than either a 1+1 or a guaranteed event or ×2. You know, they're just going to hoard their shards again. Because this isn't going to encourage them to use the system. It's just such a low value. There you go. I just wanted to close this video out and kind of cover off that, you know, what I didn't really talk about yesterday because I didn't have enough information yesterday. I didn't know how many additional Prism crystals we were going to earn from events because we haven't had any. But the fact you cut the duration down and then you've increased the cost by 4 times and then you've actually only given us the same as what we had last time, that's a mistake. You know, if this is a typo and it should be 20, then fine, fix the typo. Let me know in the comments below, are you going to be going for this Deck of Fates event? Are you going to be putting any time into it? I'm still going for this, like, Eternal Soul Shard. I probably will, you know, pull out the Soul Stones, I would imagine. I'm going to do Hydra today, so maybe we'll do it tomorrow as a video or something to see what we get. We are chasing some very specific champion souls. I am not going to be engaging in this Prism system. I have no interest in it. I'm not going to buy the shards. Even if I wanted some of those champions, I'm not going to do it just out of principle because I think they're hating on the players and I don't think they should do that. There you go, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know which events you're actually excited for, or are you just worn out with all of these crazy events they keep throwing at us? Yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.